My name's Mike Riley. I run ABA Appliance in San Diego, and as well have been national trainer for a corporation out of Scottsdale about 30 years ago, and did training and service in different cities throughout the United States. I would My job was to go to each service center in different cities throughout the United States. I'd drive there with my own van, fully stocked with parts and tools, and go in and train the techs, make sure the service center was operational, teach the techs how to do something that's pretty obvious, but a lot of techs have a difficult time with, and that's selling the call. You'd be amazed how many times a customer will call because their refrigerator's not working, and technician goes out there and ends up walking away from the call and not fixing it. And that's exactly why they called. The customer called was to get the refrigerator fixed. I never did understand that in all my 40 years of doing service. So the purpose of the video here is to give an explanation of what goes on with technicians interacting with customers, as well as what's even worse is some of the manufacturers. Some of the worst of them are SubZero and GE, but GE really doesn't exist anymore as a corporation making appliances. They don't make appliances anymore. They're having other brands behind them. They'll put their logo on the appliance, but they're having other brands make them for them. But SubZero, in my experience over the last many years, with these $10,000, $15,000, $18,000 refrigerators, has gotten greedy. In the last 10 years, they pulled all their parts agreements out of all the parts distributors worldwide, claiming that everybody was charging too much to the customer and that they could do it better in-house. And also canceling and pulling the agreements with service companies, independent service companies nationwide, probably worldwide, saying that they were overcharging the customer, that they wanted to take the service back in their own hands, and they opened up 4 to 6 regions, service companies in 4 to 6 regions across the United States, calling them SubZero authorized service companies, so that they only could do in warranty. Nobody else independent could do it anymore. They've been doing it for 30 plus years. Just canceled all the agreements with everybody. Parts, service companies, just did the customer a great disservice. They get comfortable, as everybody knows, you get comfortable with a service company and a service person, and that's all you'll ever call, because you don't want to take the chance of being ripped off by somebody else, or not knowing who they are, if they're going to overcharge you or whatever. And so now SubZero turned this all upside down. There was a class action lawsuit that started against SubZero about this restraints of trade. It's similar to monopolization. They've taken away all the access to parts at a wholesale cost so that nobody else can make money. Parts distributors can't. That's the way every business works in the world. Every business, car parts. The distributor buys it from the manufacturer at a wholesale price, say $2, and he sells it at $10. Levi's, the store buys it at $4, the jeans, and they sell the jeans at $15. That's capitalism. That's proper relationship with a manufacturer to a distributor and to a retail outlet. Is that you buy the product at wholesale cost. Everybody's heard that term. Well, that's what it's about. And then you're able to, as a retailer or a service company or a parts distributor, to make a profit from the wholesale cost to the retail cost when you sell it to the customer. And so SubZero said, no, we're not going to do that anymore. We're taking all the profit. basically, like I said, it's basically like monopolization. It's called restraints of trade. They won't allow anybody else to deal with it. So now what's happened is all the parts distributors won't sell their parts anymore. So you have to buy all your parts from SubZero at retail price. So they've made billions doing this and ripping off everybody else and making it so that the customer is the one that is paying the price now. So it's just a hostile situation. As a service company and full line service tech of 40 years, I've back in 1991 when Freon was thought to be causing an ozone problem. I'm not going to get into that, but they banned R12 and a few other ones, R11, because they said it was putting a hole in the ozone layer. So they came out with R134A. And at that time, the car industry shuffled around and said, oh, we've got a retrofit. They called it retrofitting. The R12 cars supplied air conditioning systems that were supplied with R12 because they were older. They had to retrofit them and change them to R134A. It's been done with the car industry since back in the 90s when it first came out, and they banned R12. Since that time, the manufacturers, SubZero is one of the leaders in it, saying that, and other manufacturers as well, that no, you can't do that in refrigerators and freezers in domestic refrigeration because it was sludge. Well, that's nonsense. It's been nonsense. The car industry wouldn't have been able to do it if that were the case. Just put two and two together. It's not going to be different in one industry as it is in the other. The car industry's always done it. And there's millions and millions of people out there that had their cars retrofitted from R12 to 134A. All service companies, ASC service companies that did car air conditioning repairs can validate that. But in the appliance repair industry, manufacturers like SubZero said, no, you can't do it, and forced this issue, and all the techs started to believe it. And techs don't have they've never had really a school like the air conditioning schools for car repairs. They have an ASC certified school that they go to learn how to do it. So there's actually a standard that they learn. In appliance repair, there's never really been a school that appliance repair techs go into. I run a school, and I've been running it for the last probably 8 years, and get students, prospective techs that want to be techs to work on appliance repair. They come in from all over the world. I've had many of them, and trained them for 2-3 weeks, and they go out and they do the repairs. But it's not. There's not a standard. There's not a certification or anything like that in the appliance repair industry. And you've got other quote schools going out there saying we certify you. Well, there is no such thing in the appliance repair industry. So this sludge issue has become a real difficult one. You can't get R12 anymore. Here it is, like 30 years later. And so if you have an R12 system, because the refrigerator's lasted 20-some years, 25 years plus, you can still repair it. But SubZero tells the customers, no, you can't. You have to buy a new unit, $15,000, $10,000 to $18,000. Their techs go out there, and it's not true. It's just absolutely not true. I've replaced thousands of compressors and converted systems from R12 to 134A since 1991, and never had an issue, not one time. You have to replace the compressor. That's the key, because that holds the oil that's not compatible with the different Freon. So an R12 compressor with a different oil, you can't leave in to work with 134A. That's the only issue. You just replace the compressor, you flush the system, and you get it back to clean so that it's compatible with 134A, Replace other components if it's necessary. Evaporator, a lot of times it happens to be the case because it might be leaking at that age, 20 plus years. But you flush the system and evacuate it and recharge it. And the charge is different, so you charge it through pressure, or you can do your different testing different points of the system way of checking if the freon is proper or not. I'm not going to get into that. That's why I'm kind of skipping over it because it gets really deep. But basically, you can do it by pressure, low and high side pressures on the gauges. Ideal temp pressures on the high side is 125 to 135. On most of the domestic, if the ambient temperature is normal, it's not excessively hot or excessively cold. And the low side runs anywhere from maybe a couple inches of vacuum to about 8 pounds on the low side. And then visually check the evaporator and make sure that it's frosted all the way through the evaporator, and it goes back to it's not freezing back to the compressor. But the high side pressure will tell you if it's ideal 125 135 that you're fully charged. They're not a critical system like ice makers. The undercount ice makers are very critical on charge. They have to be almost exact, but you don't have to be on the domestic refrigerator or freezers. They can be in the general area. If the pressures are accurate, it tells you right on. Okay, so this garbage about sludge is just that. It's garbage, and I wish techs would stop believing that garbage. They've passed it on from generation to generation, and there's no validity to it. Zero validity. If you have a question about it, contact me. You either go on my website, abaappliance.net, and it's ABA, and then another APPLIANCE.net. So it's 2 A's together there, abaappliance.net. Or you can go on my appliance repair virtual hotline.com and contact me. My email's on there, either one of the sites. I have several other sites. I won't go through all of them. But contact me, and I can walk you through exactly what you need to do. It's very simple. It's exactly what the car industry's been doing since 1991. And guys like myself that didn't believe the garbage that SubZero and other manufacturers were stating about it causing sludge. It does not do that. If you replace the compressor and clean it, system, and get it back to proper condition, good condition inside the system, and clean and evacuated, you're not going to have a problem with sludge at all. It just is not an issue. So I wanted to make this video to show that I have, the reason I mention that is because if there's a system that is an R12 system, you can still convert it to 134A. You don't need to worry about all this sludge issue. So that's garbage. Just forget about it. If somebody brings it up, a technician or whatever, comes to your home, do not listen to it. And technicians out there, stop passing this garbage on. It's not true. If you think about it, nobody ever proved it to you. They just told you that, and you believed it. Okay? It's not true. Okay? I put thousands of systems together from R12 to 134A. Never an issue. So the reason I'm explaining all this is because if you're a customer out there that wants to not buy another refrigerator because SubZero authorized service came out and they said they can't fix it, you have to buy a new one. You need to call an independent service company, and that's who I'd recommend you call anyways. Most people don't go to Ford or Chevy to the dealership to get their cars repaired. Most people don't. Most people go to a repair place close to them. It's an independent service company. Do the same thing with your appliance repairs. Do not go call the factory service. Don't. Because they're not going to do things like a car repair guy is not going to put brake pads on you buy and ask him to put your brake pads on. SubZero refuses to work with anybody unless they can make a bunch of money like they're doing with parts now, because they won't sell wholesale anymore. They've just got, it seems to be greedy and breaking the law, it appears, with this restraints of trade. So don't call them and verify. If you see their logo at the top of a website and it's SubZero authorized, don't call them. Call an independent service company close to you that your neighbors can tell you who they use. And those guys, they know everything. Most of them. There's some bad ones out there, but most of them have been doing service for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. Plus, myself, 40 years. So we don't believe that garbage if we haven't had it ingrained in us and not used our brain to figure out that it probably isn't true and figured it out. Still, there's guys out there that believe. A lot of them. A lot of service guys think you can't do it. You can. So I made restoration kits that replace all the sealed system components so that you can restore an R12 system to 134A, or even if it's an R134A system, you can update it with the new compressor, evaporator, heat exchanger, and dryer. The condenser doesn't need to be replaced. It's steel. It doesn't get holes in it. It doesn't pit. It's outside in normal air. It's coated. It never needs to be replaced unless somebody physically cuts into it because it's steel tubing. Okay? And you can flush them out if they ever get anything inside of them. It's 1/4-inch tubing. It's very large tubing so you can flush it out. It's not like a capillary tube where something might get stuck in it. You can still get it out of there. So evaporator, heat exchanger, compressor, that's an R134 compressor with a new oil, R134A compatible oil in it, and the dryer. And you can relive this 20, 30-year-old SubZero refrigerator another 20 years plus. Okay? There's very few parts in the SubZero refrigerators and freezers. You've got about 6, maybe 7 operational parts. The thermostat, you've got a defrost control for the freezer, you've got a defrost bimetal terminator, you've got the evaporator, heat exchanger, compressor, evaporator fan motor, condenser fan motor. That's it. Compressor, that's it. There's very few operational parts. You've got light switches or whatever. Refrigerator, same thing. Evaporator, fan motor, evaporator, heat exchanger, compressor. There's no defroster in a refrigerator section because it's cycle defrost. When it shuts off, it defrosts itself. And then the water goes down into the pan below and evaporates when the system's running from the heat. So these refrigerators do not believe what SubZero techs or SubZero is telling you about not being able to keep your refrigerator living, having to remodel your kitchen to buy a new $10,000, $15,000, $18,000 SubZero that's way overpriced anyways. And they have all these electronics now that you do not want anything to do with. In fact, it's gotten so bad, these new engineers, these millennial engineers, are wanting to change everything. Think about this, and if you're an older person, say over 30, if you're 30, you may not really get this, but if you're over 30, you'll understand what I'm saying. There's never been so many recalls on cars. In the last 10 years, I've never, in my whole 50 years of living, almost 60 years, 58, never seen so many recalls as there is in the last 10 years. These millennial engineers, these new engineers, are wanting to change everything. And it's insane. It's insane. Leave it alone. It works. But they want to do all this new electronic stuff. They want to put new design things, just like running a car with nobody driving it. What common sense would tell you that that's safe? But they're having a lot of problems. Their cars are blowing up. Cars are catching on fire. All kinds of stuff. It's garbage. And same things happen with refrigerators. Samsung and LG came into the market. They've always made electronics. They didn't make refrigerators and appliances, but they saw they could make a bunch of money. But they don't know what they're doing. Okay? They honestly don't. There's so many class action lawsuits right now against Samsung and LG. It's just amazing. They're freezing up. The ice makers don't work. They freeze up. They're not designed properly. They're not engineered properly. And there's no fix for it. People are livid. If you go online and look at the reviews and complaints, you just blow you away. They are livid. So my suggestion is stay away from Samsung and LG. Do not buy those products. They're winning awards because they're beautiful, but they ran the price of appliances up, refrigerators, up to $3,500, $4,000, $3,000, $3,500. It's ridiculous. That same refrigerator just a few years ago, before Samsung and LG did this, was $1,500. Now they've forced them up because of all these awards they're winning about how beautiful they are and the features they have and the electronic features, and you can hook it up to your phone and all this garbage. Well, they've priced them out of the market now. People can't even hardly afford to buy a refrigerator. And they don't work, Samsung and LG's. It's like Samsung, in the history of the world, the only battery and phone that has not been allowed on an airplane is Samsung. They have a phone with the battery that it catches on fire. It's banned from getting on an airplane. Nobody else, no manufacturer in the history of the world has had that happen. Because they're using, it appears, I'm not going to get into what they're using, but for a battery to do that, they're not using the right battery. Okay? I mean, it's a $350,000 fine, I think. You get caught with one of those phones on the airplane. And people are being maimed and burned and everything else because those batteries in the phones are exploding. Anyways, off subject. Back to the subject. The point is, SubZero is doing similar things that, and all the other brands are using electronics, a lot of electronics anymore. They are problematic. And if you can stay away from it and rebuild your old SubZero refrigerator, you are best. You're better off. You're going to pay less for the repair to restore the whole system, the sealed system, compressor, evaporator, heat exchanger, the dryer. Even if you did both the refrigerator and the freezer, both compressors, both evaporators, that's going to be much cheaper. It's a couple $1,000 instead of $15,000, $10,000 to $18,000 for the SubZero refrigerator. Then you don't have to remodel your kitchen. It's another $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. It's insane. So know that you don't need to listen to this garbage that you're being told that you don't know if it's true or not. It's not true. You can rebuild these SubZero refrigerators. If the parts are no longer available, contact me. I actually manufacture some of the parts as well with a higher quality replacement than SubZero offers. And there's also crossover parts that are exact matches to what is no longer available that are still available. So it's still repairable. Contact me and I will make sure that I can get you what you need to get this refrigerator or freezer that's 20 to 30 years old or even 15 years old back in service and last you another 20, 30 years. Okay? So that's the purpose of this. I'm going to be adding some, onto this video on the very end, I'm going to be adding some pictures, images of the kits, and the SubZero restoration kits you're actually going to find on a different website that I didn't tell you in the beginning. The Appliance Repair Virtual Hotline is where I actually get on Zoom with you and help you through the repair. ABA Appliance is my service company in San Diego. And I sell all SubZero parts, and I manufacture some SubZero parts. And can get all parts that aren't available, sealed system-wise, to get you back into operation. And that website is refrigerator part replacements.com. So it's refrigerator part with no S on the end, refrigerator part replacements with an S on the end, refrigeratorpartreplacements.com. And I'll put that down in the messages as well, down in the comments below the video, and also I'll have it on the banner on the YouTube page. It's actually up there as well. There's 3 links up there. One of those is refrigeratorpartreplacements.com. Okay, so you go to that website. If you go to the restoration page, you'll find it advertised on the compressor page, on the evaporators page, also on the front page, home page. You scroll down, you'll see a banner for it with restoration kits. If there's one there for a model it's not there, your model is different, contact me. I'll put one together for you. Okay? My purpose is to get you back into service and be treated properly from SubZero really turning all their customers upside down, not caring at all about their customers, only about themselves and what they did to all in the last 10 years. They only care about making more profit than for themselves when they're already severely overcharging customers for SubZero refrigerators and freezers. I mean, it's outrageous what they're charging for these built-ins. And there's probably $2,000, $3,000 worth of product there. They're charging for $10,000 to $18,000. So don't let them, if you have any questions at all, don't let them mislead you. Sludge is not an issue. It's just not, doesn't exist. They've made it up so that people won't fix them, so they can sell them a new unit. Okay? Technicians, stop believing this garbage. Please, stop. And if you have questions about it, contact me as well. Okay? And I'll walk you through exactly what you need to do to make sure there's any issues. And it works beautifully afterwards. And you're not putting in blended or the wrong refrigerants that guys are doing as well. You can't do that. Okay, I'm an electrical engineer by schooling. When you put in a product, a Freon that is not, the compressor's not designed exactly for, it's not going to compress the same. It's not going to be efficient. So stop doing it. You're doing a disservice to the customer. Okay? Because it's going to run longer and everything else, and it's going to cost them more electricity. It's not going to be efficient. You need to have the exact Freon that is designed, the compressor is designed to use. It's designed for. Okay? And that's not the case when you're putting in blended or replacement refrigerants, as guys are doing. And I know you're all doing it. Okay? That's why they're all over YouTube and eBay and Amazon, the replacement refrigerants, because guys are doing that. And that's not doing the repair properly. Okay? Do it properly, you'll make more money in the long run, and you'll have no headaches by doing it, putting the R134A replacement parts in and doing it properly. It's not going to be sludge. It's not going to sludge on you, okay? So that's to the technicians, because there's so many of them still. I'd say 85 to 90% of technicians out there still believe that they sludge because they've been told that by previous generations. It's just not true, okay? I'm sorry to beat that point up, but it's really aggravating to me that I've been doing it, converting for 30 years, and never an issue. And I run into occasionally when I sell the parts, a technician that the customer will call to put the parts in, and he says, "No, I can't do that. It'll sludge." Oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, he's wrong. I do know what I'm talking about, and I've done it for thousands of installations and for 30 years. Okay, so he has no proof of it. He just believed what somebody else told him. So customers, don't fall for that. Okay, I'm trying to look out for you to extend the life of your refrigerator and freezer, and stop having to pay $10,000, $15,000, $18,000 that you don't need to have to pay, and then to remodel the kitchen because it doesn't fit the same. Okay, so look forward to the restoration kits. They're not only restoration kits, compressor, evaporator, heat exchanger, and dryer for the refrigerator, but they're not on my website. But I also will put them together for the freezer. The freezer does not, the evaporator does not get leaks in it in the freezer as often as, not even close to as often as the refrigerator does. The refrigerator's a warmer temperature, 38 degrees. So just like mold grows in a warmer climate, well, corrosion corrodes in a warmer climate, which is 38 degrees in a refrigerator when it's 0 in the freezer. That's why the evaporators don't corrode as quickly in the freezer, because it's a lot colder at 0 degrees or minus degrees. Okay? So, once again, my name is Michael Riley. I'm sunny San Diego, California, and I look forward to helping you out, save a lot of money, a ton of money, and getting your repairs done right. As well, when you do buy the parts, you're going to need to find an independent service company, and just let me know, and I'll try my best to do that. I'm in San Diego, so I don't know all the service companies all over. But if you are a service company, in different states in the United States, contact me. I have 2 websites that I would love to put you on there free, where people can go on there. They're directories for service companies, for independent service companies. I have 2 of them. And it's a free listing. Get you on there so these customers can contact you when they buy the parts from me. Okay? Just contact me by email and say, look, I'd love to get on both of those websites for the free listing for a service company that does repair on SubZero refrigerators. And I'll follow the rules and do the installation if it's R12 to 134A. If I don't know about it, I'll ask you and make it work. But the only way you're going to stay on there, because if you say that you can't do that kind of thing, you can't convert R12 to 134, then I'm not going to put you on there, because you're not doing the customer proper service, and it's the proper method of repairing it. Okay, there is no sludge issue; it doesn't exist. Okay, get it out of your head, guys and girls, ladies. So, thanks for listening. I didn't want to make this too long, but I did want it to be informative so that you get the whole picture. This is about getting your refrigerator and freezer fixed when they tell you you can't, and you want to live it another 20, 30 years, and you can do so. Okay? Thermostats, whatever, defrost controls, parts are available, okay? And I sell all of them. So contact me if you have any questions. You can put comments in the section below. I'll be honest with you, I'm probably not going to read them. So the best way to contact me is through email on one of my websites, because I'm so busy, I don't have time to sit and look at my own videos and then go through the comments. Okay? So just contact me by email. And my email, I'm not going to say it on here, but you can go to my website. I'll post it. It'll be on the comments below the video as well. My email. Save the refrigerator. Save the freezer. It's kind of like, they say about other things. Stop throwing this stuff away and wasting money. It can be fixed. R12, R134, either one. It could be upgraded from R12 to 134A, okay? So, at a dramatically lower cost than these kits, these restoration kits are below $1,000, $600, $700, $800, $900 for all the parts, okay? And you could see that by the time you're done with it, you might have $1,500, $1,400 in repair instead of $15,000, okay? I mean, look at the difference there. And no cabinets have to be redone or whatever. So, okay? So, I did this because I knew that this was a necessity, and this would start getting these to be relived and lasting longer, so that people didn't have to throw them away anymore. Because SubZero has told customers constantly, and I'm fed up with it. I've heard it over the last 40 years, constantly. No, we can't fix it. You have to buy a new one. And it's just not true. Okay? So stop believing that garbage. And they need to stop putting that garbage out, because it's not true. But they won't, because they think they're above everybody else, just like breaking the law with restraints of trade and forcing everybody to buy retail instead of wholesale being available. It's not available with them. Doesn't matter who you are. They got 6 service companies. That's it. The only ones that can get parts from at wholesale. It's monopolization. Okay, so it's a decent unit. It's a good unit. SubZero. People like them. They're nice size. Make it work again. Okay. If you need diagnostic help, my appliance repair virtual hotline.com website. You can get a hold of me on, and I can actually walk through different repairs with customers. I've even helped a customer that was a non-tech replace a compressor. He didn't even have all the tools. He went and bought them. But he wanted to do it, and he had the mechanical ability, so he bought, and it was an 11-hour repair. It was a nightmare, because he wouldn't listen to me. He's wanting to do everything himself, his way, and so why did he ask me for my help? That's what I kept asking him. Actually, I was more patient than I didn't ask him that. I just was patient. But 11 hours, because he kept wanting to do things himself. But typically, that's an outside example. because usually it goes really smoothly, and we get the repair done, and you do it yourself. You save a lot of money, no labor, just the cost of the parts that I can sell to you, and you're back in business. It's just like you're listening to me right now, that you'd be doing on Zoom if you've never done Zoom, and I can see you. I think most people are familiar with it now because of all the schools and all the kids using it now, so they can do their schoolwork, so they can see the teacher and teacher can see them. So it's the same thing, and I do it quite often with customers that want to do their own repairs. The sealed system repair, I'm not going to do it with a non-customer again. It's just not. It's not worth it. So if you want to do that, ask me about it. Now I'll check your mechanical abilities. You have all the tools, and you're a heating and HV guy that used to do heating, or an old appliance repair tech. Yeah, I'll probably or mechanic or something. There's a chance that I could still do it with you. But somebody that's just not technical or whatever and doesn't have the tools, it's just not worth buying all the tools. I mean, it's a couple $1,000s for tools. I don't know why he did that, but he did. So I don't want to go on and on. Thank you, and whatever I can do to help out, feel free to contact me anytime. Seriously, that's what I'm here for. I've got 40 years experience. I'm factory trained with the factory. I was a trainer for, I've been a trainer for, I have my appliance repair tech school.com. Appliance repair tech school.com. If you're a tech out there and want to take it, or you're not a tech yet, or you want to learn more, go to my appliance repair tech school.com website and come in. It's one-on-one training, and I can train you. I do a lot. I'm very busy, but I always make the time for the customer. Okay, so don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions at all, and I can make life a little bit easier for the things that you don't understand about what's going on this end, the repair end, and make it more clear to you. Okay. All right. Have a great day, and look forward to my other videos on my channel. I'll be constantly posting new videos with regards to different things, repairs that I do with people on Zoom as well. But this was one video that I wanted to get out about I'm going to be doing an exact video on converting R12 to 134A systems. But I wanted to bring that up in this one as well. This one's about restoration kits being available. But I wanted to do one also. There's going to be one about the R12 to 1, and it'll go through the whole procedure if you're interested of how to convert from R12 to 134 system, compressor, evaporator, whatever, and not have it sledged, which it won't do. Okay, so look for that video as well in the future. It's the holiday season right now, so happy holidays to those if they see this during the holiday season. Otherwise, we're looking forward to COVID being over. They've just started giving vaccinations, and things will hopefully get back to normal soon. All right, take care, be safe, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you. Bye. They're available for all models. As you can see in the pictures here, these are different models of SubZeros, as you probably recognize, maybe one or more of them. The kits are comprised of the compressor, evaporator, heat exchanger, and dryer in the picture there. And there's different models of restoration kits and refrigerators. So the evaporators are going to be different, the compressor is going to be different, and basically the website has the refrigerators listed in there. If it's not in there, then just go ahead and contact me, and I can put together the proper kit for you. And as you notice in the pricing here, that even all these components, you can look down there and see that $669. A lot of times these service companies are charging $400 or $500 just for the compressor. So this is the whole kit. It's incredibly cheap for all the parts. The freezer evaporators, $771 on that one there. The freezer restoration kits, most of them aren't going to have the evaporator in it. If you do want the evaporators normally don't get holes in them in the 0-degree environment. Corrosion does not set in. So look on the website, find what you need, contact me if you need something else, and get your refrigerator back to life.